who wants to read something for me? Anybody want to read for me? You going to? No? You don't like reading? So we're going to read, how about the learning goal? She's going to read the learning goal for us.
No, I was asking what are you reading?
Oh.
I can read the learning goal.
Okay, go for it, Barbara.
I can isolate a single variable into each equation.
Perfect. What's up? Yes. I can isolate a single variable in an equation. Who can say that another way? Who thinks they know what that means? Anybody got a guess? I can isolate a single variable in an equation. Because what we've been doing is isolating x and finding a number for x. But now we're going to have two variables. So we're going to have a variable equal to some operations surrounding another variable. What about, anybody want to read that bit on the left, that little paragraph? Any volunteers? Okay, so some equations have more than one variable. At times, you will need to solve these equations for one of the variables. A formula is an equation that expresses a relationship between certain quantities, so equations we've been working with. A formula or equation that involves more than one variable is called a literal equation. So these things we're seeing on the paper are called literal equations. So let's just try number 1. Anyone want to read that for me? No? Okay. So it says shopping. After buying 3 shirts, all at the same price, and spending $6.50 on lunch, Braylon had spent a total of $93.47, and we want to know what the cost of each shirt is. So I've got these values. I've got $93.47, $6.50, and 3. So what do we think our variable is going to be? What do we not know? Perfect. We don't know how much each shirt was. So that's what I don't know. So the shirt price is what I don't know. What should we call that? What variable? What letter should I assign to it? S? S works. Or X. We could do X too. So we'll just call it S because it's shirts. So the only thing I know about the shirts is that there were 3 of them. So if I have 3 of something, what am I doing with 3? Multiplying, subtracting, adding, dividing. What am I doing? 3 of. Yep, multiplying. Of tells me to multiply. So 3 of S means 3 times S. That's the amount of shirts. So this is what he spent, right? He spent money on 3 shirts, each of the same price. What else did he spend? What else did he buy?
Lunch.
He bought lunch. How much was lunch? $6.50. So he also bought lunch for $6.50. And I'm going to add these because he spent this and he spent this. Altogether, that's going to be his total. What do we know about his total? What was his total? Perfect. $93.47. So that was what he spent. And we know it's equal to the sum of his lunch and his shirts. So we want to add those together, and that's going to be our total. But since we don't know what S is, we're going to need to move some stuff around to figure it out. So I've got this 3 and I've got this $6.50. What are the 2 operations? Lamaria, what are my 2 operations here with my 3 and my $6.50? What's happening with them? Give me one of them. What do I have going on? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division?
Addition.
We got addition. What's the other thing we got going on? What's happening with the 3? Jerry, what's the 3 doing? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Multiplication. Perfect. So we've got multiplication and we got addition. If I'm working backwards, so I'm not doing order of operations, that's PEMDAS. If I'm going backwards in PEMDAS, what do I want to do first? Addition and subtraction or multiplication and division? That would be if I was doing order of ops. But we're going backwards. We want to do subtraction first. So when we're picking a formula apart, we're going backwards. We go backwards in PEMDAS. So we want to take care of addition and subtraction first. So what's going to be the opposite of adding 650? Megan, what should I do? Subtract. Perfect. So we're going to subtract 650 on both sides. Keep it equivalent. All I've got left is my 3s. And then what do I get for 9347 minus 650? Anybody got that? 86? 86, 87? Oh, you're close. I think it's 97 there. 86, 97. Perfect. 97. Okay. So, 86, 97 equals 3 times s. Can somebody tell me what this means? Can somebody tell me what this means in context? Because the s is my shirts. So if 3 times shirts is 86.97, what's that 86.97 worth? Yes. I didn't tell anybody else they could go, right? Yeah, I think we're good. So what's that 86.97 worth if it's being multiplied, or if it's equal to 3 times s? What do you think? What did we say 3 times s was worth? Because s means shirts. So if I'm multiplying the shirts by 3, how many shirts do I have? 3. So this is telling me $86.97 is how much 3 shirts cost. Good with that? So now, if 3 costs $86.97, I want to do the opposite of multiplying by 3, right? What's that going to be? Barbara, what should I do? It's the opposite of multiplying by 3. Divide. Yeah, we're going to divide by 3. So now we're dividing 86.97 by 3. What am I going to get there? 28.99. Wonderful. So 28.99 equals s. So what does the 28.99 mean in this context? If 3 s's was 3 shirts, what's 1 s? What's this 1 s? Shirt. So 1 shirt is $28.99. Everybody good with that? Oh, we good? So he had a little treat yourself day. He got, Yeah, the shopping one. So he went out. He spent $93.47. We know he bought 3 shirts for some amount and paid $6.50 for lunch. We got rid of the lunch, divided that shirt cost by 3, and got each shirt is equal to $28.99. Yeah, it's an expensive shirt. I don't think I'd pay that much for a shirt. I'd have to really like it. I don't know. 3rd period agreed with me that was expensive. Okay. Does anybody still need to write? Yeah? Okay, I'll leave it up for a sec. Oh, done? Okay. Everybody's good? You still writing? No? Okay. Oh, it's so it's water, and I got these little powder Alani things. It's kind of good. It's kind of coconutty. Like it tastes like coconut. Yeah, I'm not big on coconut. It is. That is true. That's very true. Like you can use it. You can eat it. You can use it on your skin, your hair. That's true. It's a good thing. Anyways, but it's cheaper. It's like $1 for one of those little packs versus buying an Alani for like $2. Okay, so let's look at 2. Got rubber pencil over there? So 2, we've got 2 times a. No, we've got 5 times a. We have 5 times a minus 2 times b equals 15. And what do we want to solve for? A or b? We want to solve for a. So 2, we're solving for a. So we want to isolate a. That's our word of the day, isolate. So what's happening around A? Can somebody describe? Because I've got a 5 and I've got a negative 2b. What are my two operations happening? Anybody got a guess? What are my two operations? I've got 5 and I've got negative 2b surrounding A, right?
Right.
So what's happening with the 5?
Multiplying by A.
Multiplication. What about the 2b? Can somebody raise their hand and tell me? What do you think? Heidi, what is it? Yes, but we want to talk in terms of A. What is it?
Oh, that is.
Subtraction. So we care about A right now. So A is being multiplied by 5, and then 2b is being taken away from A. So really, the two operations I have here are subtraction and multiplication. And which one do I want to do first? Subtraction. So, Reynard, what's the opposite of subtracting 2b? What do I want to do? Add 2b. Perfect. So it's just like when we had normal numbers, but now we've got an extra variable. So I'm going to get my 5a alone. Perry, can I combine 15 and 2b? Are those like terms? No, they're not. Because one has a b next to it and one does not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write 15 plus 2b, because these are not compatible like terms. Everybody with me so far? Not too bad. So now, all I've got left is that 5. Jaden, what should I do to get rid of the 5? To get A alone. Divide. I'm going to divide by 5. And when I divide one side by 5, I got to divide the entire other side by 5. So the entire thing is getting divided by 5. So I'm just going to write up 15 plus 2b over 5, and that's my whole answer. Yeah, everybody good with that? No? Here, I'm going to leave it up for a sec in case anybody's still writing. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at 3. Let's look at 3. So 3 says 12x plus 4y equals 28. And what do we want to solve for? Y. We want to get y alone. So does anybody want to explain to me what's happening on the left side of my equal sign? This 12x plus 4y. What's happening in terms of y? What's happening to y? What's one thing that's happening, Nicholas? Let's see. We've got... What about the 4? What's the 4 doing to y? Close. Opposite. Closer. Multiplying. So the 4 is being multiplied. So we've got multiplication happening to y. And then what else is happening to y? After it's multiplied by 4, something's happening with 12x. What operation? Tyler, what do you think's happening? Addition. This 12x is being added to 4y. So I know the 12 and the x are being multiplied, but I don't care about that right now because I'm looking at y. So what do I need to take care of first? Multiplication or addition? Addition. Because I'm working backwards. I'm going to unwrap this present. So I'm going to subtract 12x. Subtract 12x. So now, all I have left on one side is 4y. And then I've got 28 minus 12x. Are those like terms? Gianna, can I combine those? 28 and negative 12xy? Or sorry, negative 12x. No, I can't. Because one has an x and one doesn't. So I just keep it 28 minus 12x. So at this point, I've got 4y equals 28 minus 12x. So the only thing left on my left side with the y is 4. And I want to do the opposite of whatever 4 is doing to get rid of it. So Egypt, what should I do? What should I do to get rid of that 4? What's happening between the 4 and y? So what's the opposite of that? Divide. So I'm going to divide by 4. So now, I know last time we left it as a fraction. But this time, do I have any fractions in my multiplication? Or sorry, on my multiple choice? Do I? Any fractions like this where I've got 2 things divided by 1 thing? I don't. So I actually need to simplify this. Does anybody have a guess on how I could do that? How I could rewrite this? So I can actually write it as 2 separate fractions. Everybody okay with that? Yeah? So now I can keep simplifying because 28 divides by 4 evenly. What will I get if I divide 28 by 4? 7. So that becomes 7. And now, when I'm talking about adding and subtracting terms, they do need to have the same variable. But when I multiply and divide, I don't need the same variable. So even though 12 has an x and 4 doesn't, I can still divide the numbers. So what's 12 divided by 4? 3. So I keep the number 3 and I bring that x down. Because I can simplify like terms like this. Everybody okay with that? I know I'm throwing a lot at you today. But that is our final answer. Which answer has a positive 7 and a negative 3x? C. So it's just written in a different order. But the 3x is negative and the 7 is positive. So these are the same answer. So that one was C. Okay, we are going to skip 4 because I don't like that I put that in there. What's up? Yeah, you're good. So we're going to skip 4. Does anybody want to read 5 for me?
I'll read it.
Yes, thank you. So it says video games, I think. Oh, that's Kaniran. He's from my 3rd period. I've just been trying to put people's names in them.
The model makes a video game that becomes very popular. He creates a formula. E equals 40. The model is profit. He is given the number of copies sold to take into account the $300 fee that he has paid a retailer to sell the goods. This equation will model how many copies he must be sold to make a particular profit.
Perfect, thank you. So we've got this formula. And P is his profit, C is the number of copies sold, and 300 is a fee that he has to pay to the person who sells his game for him. So our profit is going to be equal to 40 times each copy. So he makes 40 per copy. But he has to also take away 300 from whatever he makes because he's paying to have his stuff sold. So we want to isolate which variable. What do we want to find out? Copies, profit. Oh, I guess copies or profit. That's the only 2 we have. Which one is it? Copies. So I want to find C. I have P alone, but I want to get C alone. DJ, can you tell me what operations I have on the right side there? This 40 and this 30. Or sorry, 300. What operations do I have? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. What do you see? I see some subtraction. What else do we see? Reynard, what's that 40 doing? What operation is that? Multiplying. So I've got subtraction. My 300 is being subtracted, and then my 40 is being multiplied. So which one do I take care of first? Jayana, do you remember? Which one do I do first? Subtraction or multiplication? That would be PEMDAS, but we're going backwards, so we want to do subtraction. Yep. So we are working backwards. So we want to first do the opposite of subtracting 300. Dalia, if I want to do the opposite of subtracting 300, what should I do? Yeah, reverse it. So what's the opposite of subtraction? Is it multiplication, division, or... What do you think? What's the opposite of if I'm taking something away from you? What's the opposite of doing that? Z, can you help her out? What's the opposite of subtraction? Addition. So instead of subtracting 300, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Instead of subtracting 300, we want to do addition. So add 400. Or sorry, 300. Perfect. We want to add 300. So is P and 300, are those like terms? Can I add those? No, because one has a P, one does not. If it was P plus 300P, we could do that. Or just 1 plus 300, we could do that. But here, I'm just going to keep it P plus 300 because I can't combine them. So now I just have my 40C left. And now, I've taken care of my subtraction. Now I've got multiplication left. If I want to do the opposite of multiplying by 40, Shari, what should I do? What's the opposite of multiplying by 40? Divide by 40. And I want to divide the entire left side by 40. Not just one piece. So we keep it equivalent. So now my 40s are going to go away. And who can tell me what C equals? Who can read that to me? Anybody want to give it a shot? Do you want to give it a shot? Kaya, you want to try it? What's C equal to? Which answer option does it look like? Oh, sorry, this one's not multiple choice. So what's being divided by 40? So P plus 300. Yep, so P plus 300. So the sum of P and 300 divided by 40 is equal to C. So that is going to be his cost. Whatever his profit is, plus 300 divided by 40. Or sorry, that's his copy. It's not his cost. My bad.